Let's build a pedal board. Is my pedal board. As you can see, it has a lot of crap on it. It is needlessly complicated as it runs stereo, mono, into the stereo from the source audio collider, then out into two signal paths, which include these pedals in one side, this pedal, and this pedal under here, which is very important, we'll get to that later, into the other side. But what I want to do is put these before the collider. And I want to add these three pedals, which is going to require some jiggery pokery to fit. So let's tear this down and rebuild and redesign this pedal board for the first time in probably 2 years. So let's just start tearing everything off. So this flanger is held on with actual pedal board tape, which is what's going on all of these. Those were easy to get off. Let's see how difficult this is. Pretty easy because it just popped off the Boss pedal, but all of the pedal board is stuck. So a quick breakdown of the signal path I had, which was starting at the LaMachine, into the Mini-Wah, Colourdriver, the Mythos Golden Fleece, great pedal, tuner, Sugar Drive, also great clone pedal. Then the collider. Out of the collider, split two, one side, Mood, Flanger, Carbon Copy, the other, Ernie Ball Expression Trem, Suhr Buffer. Both lines meet up at the loop station, can be summed to one output or two. This is the signal chain I'm going to be putting in, which is the LaMachine, Colourdriver, Golden Fleece, again great, Polytune, the Cloak, then the Suhr Buffer, splitting into two and having the Epoch boost in one side and the Sugar Driver in the other side to have a parallel boost, because I don't really need too much more than amp, this, and maybe a boost. Plus doing it this way gives me different flavors of boost without just being overdriven to hell. On one side, again, Mood into the Flanger, which the Flanger really messes with the Mood after the fact, and it sounds epic. The Echorec, which I got because this doesn't do multi-head stuff, and it's a sound I love. Again, the Expression Trem. Then they both sum into the stereo of the collider, stereo out into the looper, which then can be summed one or both. All of this wacky wet dry stereo, all of it, is only possible because of this. The Suhr Buffer. What this is a single input, dual output with an isolated out and a phase shift. If that sounds familiar, you probably also watched that pedal show and are aware of the Gig Rig Humdinger, which is what I intended to buy. However, multiple months of waiting for one of those. So I looked for alternatives. Suhr makes one, and it's slightly cheaper, more compact. Now there is an issue with the compactness of it, which is it's a little big for a rail for top mounting, and when you flip it over, it's a little small, for between rails, and a little thick to put on the bottom rail. Power supply is a one spot CS7, so I am going to have to daisy chain some stuff. I've always done that a bit. Just do it into analog pedals and drives. It's fine if you do 2 or 3. That's all I really need. For cables, I'm going to try to use exclusively these Ernie Ball ribbon cables. These are great. They're mass produced, they're simple, they're relatively easy to come by. That said, these 12-inch ones, despite this being Ernie Ball and buying it from a major manufacturer, 3-month waiting list. That's annoying for something that's mass produced. So in case you've never pulled Velcro off the back of a pedal, all you really need to do is get underneath it with something, pry just a corner, grab your trusty needle nose pliers, grab that corner, and yank that shit off. So here's an important thing to point out. Boss pedals have this rubber stuff on the bottom. You can either peel it off, or, like I did with the loop station, you flip the back plate upside down and have a clear point to that. I did not do it with the HF2 because it won't actually fit, which is the case with some circuits, and because this is from, I don't know, 85, 87, it's quite old. I have all the previous Velcro pulled off. You can kind of see on some of them the adhesive is still there. It's gonna have to come off. Let's give that a quick. It's just warm water and soap and a lot of elbow grease. I'm gonna talk about the 2 pedals that are coming off. First, the Crybaby Mini Wah, which I got as a replacement for a Vox full-size wah for the sake of space keeping. Ever since I was a teenager, I've had a wah. It's a crutch. It hides my inability to play correctly, quickly. But I think I'm to the point now where I can pretty much say I don't need it. The other one is this infamous, legendary now, carbon copy. This is the first standalone pedal I've ever bought. Everything before this was a multi-effect, you know, in the early 2000s, those cheap Digitech RP series things. And this delay really taught me how to listen. This hurts to take off the board. The inspiration that has come from this stupid little green flecked box. But I got this sound with the oil can setting in the Collider. And I don't have a multi-tap like the Echorec. So this is being replaced by an Echorec.
Yeah.
But this pedal, just because it's old, don't overlook it. It's a brilliant, brilliant thing. Thank you, George Trips. So let's just lay this out. That's the order. However, there are two things to keep in mind when doing a TPS wet dry dual mono, the correct term, board like this. One is phase, the other is latency. Now, I definitely have latency from this, the Ernie Ball Expression Tremolo. This is a digital pedal. It is always on, but the functionality of this and the sound of the harmonic tremolo, which is all I use on it, being able to speed it up, slow it down, ease it in, wind it up, it's incredibly inspiring. The way this works is so damn good that I don't care about the latency. Anecdotally, Catalinbread is a company that does brilliant pedals that typically in this sort of setup, they do flip the phase when you use them. Now, all of these are capable of true bypass, but they also have non-true bypass, which is what they're currently set in. These two to create trails, this one as a buffer. I may need to turn this into true bypass. However, the Cloak is going to go before the split so that I can use the 100% wet to create a synth pad sound with it, which should be quite an interesting thing. Won't be the only thing I use it for, but that'll be a cool sound. But these two are going to be after the split. And if these flip the phase, when I click them on, in either true bypass or buffered, I'm going to have to rethink the board. So guitar into buffer, Epoch to one side, nothing into the other, phase pulled out. Let's see what we got. Just normal. Turn the pedal on at noon. That sounds out. Hit the switch. In. Now off. Problem. I don't have high hopes for the Echorec. So let's do the same thing. Just clean. On. Mix all the way down, does nothing. Awesome. The Echorec works. So the last ditch effort will be to take the Epoch boost. There's a little switch down here in the corner that will turn it into true bypass. See if that does anything for the phase. I sincerely doubt it. Nope. The Epoch boost flips phase, meaning I cannot do, with this pedal, a parallel drive section, which is a blag. That's annoying. I guess I'll just have to have more drive stages. That is going to be the layout. Chuck it all together. So one of the things I've learned, and this is something that works with pedalboard tape or your normal everyday Velcro, is the way I had this before with the full strip along the back is actually incredibly inefficient. It doesn't stick as well as just putting a couple dabs in each corner, no matter what material you're using. I've had a problem with where to mount the buffer on the underside, because I've got a cable going here, and a cable going here. And also, if I put it on this railing, it sits too high for the rest of the board. So what I'm going to try to do is to tape it down like this, so it's connected to the power supply and this rail, and is flush with the power supply, meaning that it should clear every area. Okay, so this is the pedal order now. I realized I didn't have the Cloak before the boosts, so I shifted that around, and it actually cleared up this area a little bit as well. So win-win. And so, after 10,000 years, rebuild's done. That's what it looks like. That's what it is. This thing's super cool. This thing's super cool. This thing's super cool. Oh look, all the new stuff is super cool. Everything else has always been cool. Sounds great. It's more ergonomically designed than the previous version. It's a lot easier to get at stuff. It all works now. I did have some wiring issues, namely forgetting to plug in the buffer in behind. Duh. Don't look exhausted. I look exhausted. I am exhausted. That's been a long day. It's done. It's stellar. And I won't have to touch this for a very long time because it has everything I need. Well, the biggest disappointment is I couldn't run these two drives parallel because of the Epoch boosts phase flipping. It's a real disappointment. But if you go back and you watch the unboxing of these Catalinbread pedals, you'll know the story. This Epoch boost was free. So, you know, gift horse in the mouth and all. Is there anything to be learned from this? Probably not. Anyway, cool board build. Enjoy some noises.